It is on us and on brave men and women who are fighting right now not to allow us to lose our independence as it happened at the beginning of 20th century. So it is very symbolic and very important for us. And again, this is why what you see and hear about Ukraine is an enormous hope that this time things will be different, that this time in history we will win, we will resist, and our this neighbor that always wanted to destroy us will fail this time.
To talk about Ukraine and how it is facing this coming Christmas in that troubled and war-torn country. We can talk again to Kira Rudik, who's leader of the opposition Holos party in Kyiv. Hello to you, Kira. Welcome back.
Hello, John, and thank you so much for having me.
Always very welcome, Kira. So we're obviously here getting ready for Christmas. The streets of London and the big cities are decked with lights and decorations, like most major cities in Europe and the West. Just give me a sense, Kira, of what it's like in Kyiv.
Oh, unfortunately, it is not as bright in Kyiv. We still are experiencing enormous energy outages, and our energy services are trying to do their best. But John, I can tell you that just before joining the show, I was doing what many Ukrainian women are doing right now, searching for 10 dishes you can prepare for Christmas with the energy outages without having to actually cook them. And this is the reality that we have on the ground, that you cannot predict that the situation will get really better. We only can hear that the attacks will intensify and it can get worse. But even given this really dire situation, people are finding a way to help each other, and as everyone in the world, to have like some sort of normal Christmas, buy presents for their loved ones, have something bright for the children, make sure that we stay united, to prepare some gifts that we are sending for the front line. So no matter how hard it is right now, we are trying to hope for the best. And this is actually what the song that you started with is about. In Ukrainian, it was not about the bells. It was about how light wins over the darkness and how we are all hoping for the best.
Kira, look, our thoughts and our hearts go out to you as always. So the families of Kyiv, just to take your city as the example, there will be efforts to try to get together something like a Christmas celebration. But of course, so many families, I suppose, Kira, will be missing members, won't there? Dads, mothers, brothers and sisters who are either lost or in uniform. I see 20% of the Ukrainian military are women, some 70,000 women soldiers. It's going to be so hard for so many.
It is indeed. As of right now, we know that more than 80% of Ukrainian families have either somebody fighting at the front or lost someone at the front. So no matter it's men or women, we are all tied to people who are fighting at the front line. And this is why our celebration and our prayers are with them and with the hope that we will find the way to end the war. By the way, John, I want to return again to the song, because the fascinating thing that it was written by Ukrainian composer Mykola Leontovich in the city of Pokrovsk, that is reminding all of us once again that Ukrainians were fighting for our independence a while ago, 120 years ago, and before that, and that what is happening right now is just the history trying to repeat itself, and it is on us and on brave men and women who are fighting right now not to allow us to lose our independence as it happened at the beginning of 20th century. So it is very symbolic and very important for us. And again, this is why what you see and hear about Ukraine is an enormous hope that this time things will be different, that this time in history we will win, we will resist, and our this neighbor that always wanted to destroy us will fail this time.
Such an important point, Kira, and we know that now the city of Pokrovsk is the site of such vicious, ferocious fighting. Is there no sign? You think we're talking about human beings here, and human beings are human beings, of people becoming weary of this war, of becoming war weary, just wanting it to end?
Of course, everybody wants this war to end. Of course, we are we are suffering every single day, and people closer to front line much more. However, the question is, John, what's the alternative for us? What's going to happen if we fail? If we fail this time? And I can tell you, Ukrainian history is not telling anything good about the past after the Ukrainians' independence failed. We faced one of the massive genocides, Holodomor, when millions of Ukrainians were starved to death by Russian regime. And we know that they will do it to us again and again if we will allow them. And this is why we are trying not to allow them and asking the world to stand with us, to support us in that. Because most of all, we know what's going to come because we have seen it in the past so many times.
I mean, the spirit you describe, it comes through so vividly. I mean, there was an opinion poll here in this country, Kira, very recently, which said that nearly half of young Brits would not wish to fight for this country, saw no reason to fight for this country. The story from Ukraine just seems to be so very, very different. And obviously the history you described there has a great deal to do with it. You don't know how people are going to respond until they're called upon in extremis. You really need to make that point. But the mentality in Ukraine that you describe, it is absolutely formidable. And the fact that it's lasted through and beyond 3 years of war, nobody expected that. People thought this war was going to be over in days. And look at how you are.
Well, we were able to do that because we were not alone. And I would like to share gratefulness to all the people who are supporting us and who have been standing with us through this year, through all of those years. Because, John, it's so important when you are fighting against all odds to know that the help is about to come, to know that the people who had to flee have their home, have their roof over their heads and have support, to know that when we are in need, we have somebody to call and ask for this help and the support. And there is a huge difference between 2022, when Russia launched full-scale invasion, and right now. And this difference is that we are not alone. And for that, we are grateful. And for that, I want to share the gratefulness of Ukrainian people to all British people. Thank you for giving us the chance to stand. Thank you for your support, for pushing your government to do the right thing, for unanimously standing with Ukraine. This is very important. And please accept the message of gratefulness before these Christmas holidays.
Well, Kira, I mean, your message has been heard loud and clear, and I think you know that the support of the people of this country and large parts of Europe is very much with you at this time of year and any time of year. Kira Rudik there.